Go. Hello,
Hi
everybody.
everyone, my name is Icrix, and there's no such thing as a Kunagusis on my end. He's disappeared for the day, so I'm taking over completely as the host today. And, you know, blah 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 blah. Session over, bye bye.
Yeah, that was very good. Very good. And by very good, I mean a load of shite. Anyways, hello, everybody. Welcome back. So we're just currently in peace negotiations with Egypt because I was content with that stage of the Syrian wars. I plan to have a few of these Syrian wars, as I like to call them, because that's what historically the conflicts between the Seleucids and the Ptolemies were called.
God, that's so sad. You're so eager for multiple Syrian wars. That's just sad, man.
Plus, I have other things I want to focus on, because I'd like to have it be a certain set of, call it progress, you know, reach a certain stage, fight, reach a certain stage, fight. I don't know, it's just the way I like to do it. I suppose that's a bit of trying to have things follow the history a little bit, just for the fun of it.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, and then we've got some Jewish rebel army. This is part of that events mod, just spawned a massive stack of, you know,
Story's
Jewish
not good
units.
enough. I mean, you failed countless times already. I was expecting something different this time around, but no, you had to disappoint us yet again. Shame.
What are you talking about?
The spy. He
Oh.
failed his sabotage mission, and a hidden agent got exposed for the
Oh.
billionth time in a row.
Yeah, whatever. I don't really care. So yeah, I try to figure what I can do with that Jewish army. But now I moved on to developing my regions. Upgrading the slave trader in Ankara. And, but decided not to.
Yes, because you know deep down it's an immoral thing to do.
No. Then I'm just looking at how many turns have passed. Because reforms will probably be coming soon. Though I got a bit confused initially here. At some point, I got confused because. So, our last campaign was Carthage, and Carthage have a similar reform system to the Greeks, Tereos and Thorax. However, the way Carthage has it is different, and the gist of it is, for Carthage, it's like 60 turns to Reos and like 140 or something for Thorax. And the Seleucids and Greeks in general, it's turn number and Imperium level. But I got the turn numbers confused. So it'll be turn 50 as the Seleucids, and I'd get Tereos reforms.
Oh, at least it's 10 less. Than
Yeah,
Carthage.
it is. So I just got a bit confused. I was thinking, okay, turn 60, turn 60. Then I'm like, oh wait, no. Towards the end, I'm like, oh wait, no, actually it's turn 50. But anyways. So Archibosporus decided to attack Atropatcan. So I think get involved in that war to help me old satrapy.
So did you say you're not gonna get involved in that war?
No, that I am getting involved in the war
Oh, right.
to help out my satrapy. Share that Jewish army is taking attrition because they have no supplies.
Let me guess, it's gonna fail this time around. And I was right.
We
God.
see, DEI did greatly nerf agents
Why would they do that?
because they're seen as too powerful in vanilla.
Well, I feel like they've done a bit of an overcorrection there. They always seem to be failing all the time.
Hades be praised. I will come from the darkness.
Does it have to be the same with sabotages as well? Did they consider the DEI to be like too overpowered with sabotages as well
Well,
as
in fairness-
assassinations?
Well, in fairness, sabotaging was quite deadly in vanilla because you could poison provisions, which basically just killed a chunk of guys. And you could just spam that shit with loads of agents and basically make an army to practically nothing.
Still, I do find it a bit of an overcorrection in that pretty much every time we've sent out an assassination or sabotage contract, it always seems to fail.
It does succeed sometimes, and I guess
It's more of a
as the agents get better, the odds increase.
yeah, but like during most, if not all of our sessions, I've rarely seen that happen. Maybe like once or twice, but like that's really a rare occurrence, don't you think?
I suppose, but I'm used to it at this stage.
I don't know.
So I decided to auto-resolve, having sufficient numbers to take out that army. And I got rid of Yehuda.
Ready for battle. Advance. Ready for orders.
Now I'm sending my armies back.
Advance. Gathering
But I do recruit a general to serve as a governor here.
Commander, call this a garrison. Ready for
Yes, we do call that a garrison. You got a problem with that?
Perhaps, but yeah. And that victory has led us, our army, to gain a level. So, we're just giving them some extra buffs. Like extra battle captives.
ready for orders.
And our governor here in Seleucia has leveled up. So just give him some nice skills to help with administering the region better.
Give him skills as a political reformist, do we?
It's just to better govern the province. Especially because public order has been a bit of an issue in this campaign.
How so?
Well, basically, I suppose a lot of my settlements suffer from low public order. From a multitude of factors, probably just a lot of buildings and slaves. Because those are all trying to buff up my economy. But it comes at the expense of public order, and I haven't been able to balance it out enough. See, I'm still kind of learning how to fine-tune the balance with all this.
Still a learning curve for you.
Oh yeah, still a lot I need to learn about DEI, even though I've been playing it for years. You know. Sending a diplomat over to Atropatkan so I can improve relations.
And then we send another one over to Moria Somalia.
Maurya Samraja.
Moria Samraja.
Yeah, the Mauryan Empire.
Ah, right. I got the name right. I got the name right on the second attempt. That's
Well,
a little bit of an improvement for me.
after my correction, you got it right.
I got the first word right.
Yeah, Maurya.
It's faint praise, I know, but I'll take it.
Yeah, the Mauryans are quite a fun faction to play as. Very good archers, and they've a lot of shock infantry and elephants,
There is much sense to a treaty between us.
and they've some pretty good chariots. You see, they got a bit of a rework in, I think it was the previous update to this. Yeah,
Yeah?
they got a bit of a revamp.
What was the revamp?
Certain units were changed, visuals were updated. It was a lot of good work by Summary and Swaraj, who are both Indian themselves. They basically, I guess they just had access to good resources. They could try to do some interesting work on Maria. So they changed how the units looked. They changed some units. The reforms are different. They no longer get Indo-Hellenic troops, and instead have more nomadic influence units. Basically just some better Lancer cav and Their longbowmen basically get better. They have like an armored version, basically. And the longbowmen are really good. Well, really good in that they have the best range of any archer. Though their damage is relatively average. That's still good.
Are they like the longest? Do they have like the furthest range of any
Yeah.
archers?
Yeah, they have the best range out of any archer unit in DEI.
Ah, right.
Though their damage is on the average side. Cretans have the best damage and rate of fire, but they have the worst range. And yeah.
What about the ones? What about the opposite? The ones who do the most damage and the most the most shots fired, but like don't have that much range.
That's the Cretans.
The Cretans, right? You're not a fan of those anymore.
Oh no, they are still very good. Cretans are still very good and very valuable to have.
But you just don't use them as often as the other ones.
Well, again, if you're playing as Mario, you're not going to get Cretans until you go as far as like Crete or Syria.
I know.
You know, so it's a bit of a, I know, kind of a pointless question because you're not really going to have that much of like intersection unless you get to a certain point.
I suppose you're right. Yeah.
The Cretans are probably best to be put on your flanks because then you can maneuver them to go even behind an enemy or to hit them from a vulnerable side and they can do lots of damage. But yeah, as we see, I'm disbanding one unit of bronze shields. I think this is so I just have 4 phalanx troops instead of 5.
Why?
You see, in a lot of my armies, when I have phalanx troops, I usually only just have 4. Because I just feel that's a nice optimal number. 4 phalanx, and I have 2 spears, about 4, I suppose, melee infantry, 4 or 6 melee infantry, and then the rest will be cavalry, elephants, whatever. Depends on the faction. And I think just oftentimes when it came to pike armies, I kept it at 5, but I guess I'm just thinking 4 is probably enough.
Consider that you consider that your ideal amounts.
Yeah,
Take this
it's a nice optimal number.
Our treasuries were overfull.
So Armenia won peace and are offering quite a lot of money for it. But I decline.
Of course you do. I shouldn't have been surprised.
But yeah,
Well, that sucks. Instability. At least a few kids were born. That's always a plus.
that's the events mod. I think events roulette it's called. Which I eventually took out.
Why?
I just wasn't too happy with
I
it.
am here then.
As I said
Did it just
before.
not come up with any interesting events? Or
Yeah, I
did
just
you
felt it was
like-
probably a little too punishing. I talked about it before.
Mithras hairy bulls. Your
you know,
sickening
it was-
ideas of what is right
Because I think at this time I was also doing
by
a
the
Parthia
for
campaign.
little.
And I think I was just having problems with that mod. Just personal preference issues. That I just kind of was like, yeah, no, not interested in using it. But yeah, so, you know, bit of a slow episode here at the moment.
Steady as she goes.
Yes. But yeah, we're at least getting close to Terraeus reforms, and that's good. It gives a nice revamp to the
So
military.
what happens during the Theraeus reforms?
Okay, let me think. The Uzonoi, our sword infantry, become Terraeoporoi Uzonoi, basically Terraeus swordsmen. We get access to Terraeus spears. We have access our Hippocratian peltasts become peltasts. And we get Tereos cavalry. Two kinds, because the Seleucids are unique in that regard. TWR2 Prodromoi, I believe they're called. And then, what were the others called? I think it was TWR2 Galatraikes Hippes, or something like that. Basically, Thracian Tereos cavalry. Which is pretty nifty to have, and I used quite a bit here. So Bosporus wants peace now, which I'm tempted to accept, but ultimately decline.
Declining bastard.
And Epirus wanted some sort of relations, and I said no. The Scythians demanded money in exchange for joining the war against Bosporus, and I say yes.
For God's sake, man, give diplomacy a chance every once in a while, will ya?
I did give diplomacy a chance. They wanted cash in exchange for taking on an enemy, and I said yes.
I'm talking about all the other times, but whatever.
You see, sometimes it's all about what is beneficial to you. And maybe it benefits you more to keep fighting until the enemy's weaker, and you can get more out of them. So, you know, I'm not just going in blindly thinking, just rejecting any and all peace. I'm really trying to just think, what is a reasonable use of my time and resources? But anyways, so governor's level up. So we're just getting his skills out. Yeah, the new DEI update's coming. Well, it's kind of out in its beta. And looking interesting so far, but I haven't played it.
Oh, it's so just the beta version of it is out. When's the do we know when the actual update is coming out?
I guess soon, whatever that means. That's the way. Whenever you like ask on Discord, they even have a command, a bot command. Whenever we go, when's the next update? It'll be a picture of Cam, one of the devs, with his doing the like inverted commas, and it just says soon. So soon. How soon is soon? No idea. I don't even think they know. They're still releasing things for it, and still more things they're adding onto it.
So let's just say another year then.
Oh no, definitely not another year.
That's
They never spend that long. There's usually 2 updates in a year. So I suppose.
I don't know. It's just like when someone says coming, it's usually kind of like that. Like this with movie trailers and something, TV shows. Like whenever they say coming soon, that usually means about a year. I know it doesn't really apply to DEI updates, but that's just how I imagine it. I'm sure they don't actually mean that.
Oh no! Basically, you're looking at maybe another month or 2 at most.
A month or 2. That's not too bad, is it? It's not that much of a wait.
You see, whenever they release the update, the beta, that just means it's nearly there. They're just needing to do a few more things.
But at least they have like, some sort of hint as to what to expect with the beta.
Well, yeah, so the beta, at the moment, the update is mostly focusing on updating the Rise of the Republic campaign. That's the main big thing of the update, which is nice to see, because that'll be quite interesting to play when it's done.
Is there anything in particular that you're hoping to see with this new update?
Nothing majorly, I suppose. But anyway, I suppose we should focus on what's in the here and now. And what is here and now is...
What the fuck is going on, man?
Armenia has attacked one of our settlements, and I happen to have a general inside, so that gives me a bit more of a fighting chance. So their cavalry is charging in, which is not a good idea to charge in front of a hoplite phalanx, but this is the AI.
Let's hope he doesn't meet the same fate as Antiochus the First.
Well, this is their general has his cataphract bodyguard and has also just charged in. Of course, a cataphract charge is not going to do much against a hoplite phalanx, but again, the AI is dumb as shit.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we're doing a good killing job. And this is our hypaspist here. That's our general's bodyguard.
Those horses aren't exactly the smartest in the room here. I know it's down to the AI, but they're desperately trying to get through.
Of course.
Oh, here's our... Who's this now?
Some kind of levy spear unit. But we've got some hoplites here. Yeah. Yeah, so it's Armenian cataphracts trying to do what they can, but not very good. I believe some of those assets are Attila assets.
Really?
Yeah, I think they've used DEI's used Attila assets and tweaked them for DEI. Because they look good and they work. Like I think some of those face masks with the cataphracts are from Attila. Yeah, so the bulk of the enemy troops are fighting here. But we're holding strong.
There's thousands of them. You'd think with that number they'd be able to at least somewhat get a few inches.
Again, all you have to do is look at what happened at the Battle of Thermopylae in the Greco-Persian Wars.
Yeah, I guess that's a decent...
With a
number.
narrow enough pass, like at Thermopylae, the Greeks, Spartans if you want to put emphasis on them, were holding pretty well. They only lost because the Persians found a way around. And they went around and hit them from behind.
Basically, the Persians just got lucky.
They discovered, oh, you can find a way to go around the pass, and so they did, and now the Greeks became caught on to this, and most of them went home. Bar, I think 1,000 men from, I don't know what city-state they were from, I always forget. So it was the 300 Spartans and these 1,000 other men who died on that last day, fighting against the Persians. And they were enduring waves of thousands each day. So
Sure
yeah.
as hell keep them busy. I'll give them that much.
So yeah, that's the thing, with a narrow enough area, a phalanx could hold and deal with a lot of enemies quite well. And that's the thing. Yeah, there's like 3 battles of Thermopylae in antiquity. The first is what I just spoke about in the Greco-Persian War. The second is when the Celts invaded Greece, and the third was when the Seleucids were fighting the Romans. So yeah. So this is the overview as we see. So yeah, Armenian spearmen are fighting our hoplites there.
And failing spectacularly, I might add.
Well yeah, Armenian spearmen are not very good. They're just cheap levy spears.
I assume they're mainly just cannon fodder for the more advanced troops, I'd say.
Suppose kind of, but they're probably the best you could really utilise as cheap, low-class spears until you get your Thoreos reforms. Because then you get Thoreo spears, which are always very good.
What's so great about the rail spears?
300 strong, medium light to medium level spearmen, pretty solid, and they're usually from your 3rd class.
So a pretty decent board there, I'd say.
Yeah, a good sturdy spear unit that's from a cheap population class. So they're very good to have. And to me, TWR2 are just very interesting in general.
So what would you say is the most beneficial thing to have after the updates arrive?
I mean, when the reforms come in,
Yeah.
well, TWR2 are very useful to have. And Thrail's cavalry for the Seleucids. Especially as I like the Gallo Thracians. Plus they're kind of nifty because they're the only faction that has such a unit.
What's so great about them?
They're just pretty solid, light, so they're fast. They got big shields, which gives them a good missile block chance in melee defense.
So a pretty good phalanx unit then.
They're not phalanx, no, they're cavalry.
Oh, no, okay then.
Yeah, they're just pretty nifty, light cavalry that are quite offensive and quite good to have. Plus, you know, it's nifty to have a unit of Gallo Thracians. Galatians and Thracians, basically, as a cavalry regiment. You know. So they're quite good to have. And they have a few javelins to get to throw before they fight.
Oh, that's handy.
So it'd probably be quite good to go after skirmish cav then. So yeah.
Our phalanx unit there is holding steady and strong.
Well, yeah, they're the Hypaspis. They're going to be very strong for phalanx troops.
Are they like the strongest phalanx that you could have?
Well, they're probably one of the strongest hoplite units that, say, the Seleucids get.
Oh, okay then.
Because, you know, but I never use them other than just for governors.
So this is one of the rare occasions where you would use them?
Pretty much, because I just don't bother using them when I'm the Seleucids. I don't use hoplites as the Seleucids.
Why not?
Because I have pikes. Pike troops are better for a frontal engagement. So I use them. And plus, historically, that's what the Seleucids use. I don't think they really used hoplites. They were kind of obsolete in this time period.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm surprised you still have them. I'm surprised you still have them as an option to
I guess
use
because
if
people
it-
still fought, I guess, in this time period in a hoplite style phalanx. They just wouldn't have been as common as they used to be.
Still, I'm kind of surprised you still have those kinds of hoplites as options to play with if they weren't used as much during this time period.
Well, they were a thing, even if they're not as much of a thing.
Yeah, I suppose.
Because I think the whole thing is that, you know, the Macedonian style phalanx kind of made a hoplite phalanx a bit obsolete because it was kind of better at being a phalanx. To a certain extent, you could say. And then, I suppose, once you get the whole Tereos, once the Tereos shield becomes popular, I suppose that also makes the hoplite less relevant because if you're somebody who's trying to be... If you don't have a lot of means and you're wanting to try and sell yourself as a mercenary, you probably have more value being a Tereo Poros because you could just get a Tereo shield, which I imagine is relatively cheap because it's just wood with a bit of iron to be like the spine and boss, and maybe a bit of leather or animal hide to add extra reinforcement, and that's it really for your shield. It's probably a little bit lighter and more maneuverable than the Aspis, which is wood and then covered in a sheet of bronze, which would be heavier and strapped more to your arm. You don't need to like train and drill in a formation because your job as a Treporos is to be more lighter. You don't need much body armor. You could, and you could be a Torakites, but generally you wouldn't need really much of any body armor. You'd have a big shield, a helmet, some throwing spears, and a sword.
So basically, it was a popular yet useful trend at the time. Basically.
Yeah, it basically was useful because you could probably equip yourself somewhat cheaply as a Tereporos and you also probably didn't need to spend that much time training and drilling with other people to be working in formation, because they weren't really fighting in formation so much. Their job was to be kind of more skirmishing infantry. But I do believe there was a sport, you might say, with the Toreos.
Like an actual sport or a metaphorical
Like
sport?
a competition, it seemed. A Toreo Machia. Some kind of
right.
a duel, but that involved being equipped with a sword and a Toreo shield. Basically, the Toreos becomes quite popular, and loads of people start using it. And it's it probably comes from Celtic shields. After the Celts invaded and clashed and then settled in Asia Minor.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a big oval shield. So it's quite nifty. Though, of course, the Toreos was typically smaller and lighter, it seems. But still, very handy to use nonetheless. But yeah, so as of course we win this battle, envelop the enemy. It's the usual tactic that works in these sorts of defenses. Whittle them down until you move some of your other troops around and hit them from behind. They're going to break. Especially by that time the general's dead, because he's usually mounted and has got himself killed early on by charging into a phalanx. But yeah. So now we're just picking off what routing troops we can.
Picking off our just desserts.
If you like, yeah. But, yeah. I believe we are coming towards the end.
Wow, already? Damn, it's like time passed us right by.
In fairness, it did go pretty quick, I feel. But yeah, a heroic victory, apparently. We decided to ransom the captives.
My honorable master would
Well, that's handy. I like a good heroic victory. Heroic victories are good.
And Parthia wanted a non-aggression pact, and I said no. So yeah.
look to your gods.
And then Parsa has declared war. They're a satrapy of mine.
Do you or do you not decide to declare war?
Well, I'm not making the decision. They're the ones deciding on it. They're attacking me. And so we have an army from Parsa. But we will not be going to this fight right now.
We'll see you next time, dear viewers. Be sure to leave a comment, like, and subscribe. And we will see you in the next video, where this battle will commence.
Indeed. Thanks for watching.